Oh. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and we are here. We're here to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. This is going to be my spoiler review for the entire series. And I do say series because I don't really know if they're getting a second season. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm going to treat this as a review of the entire series. This is a spoiler review, so if you have not watched any of the Book of Boba Fett up to this point, do me a favor and pause it and go watch it and then come back and hear my overall thoughts. Or if you don't care about spoilers and just want to hear my general thoughts on the series, you're more than welcome to stick around. And if this is your first time checking me out, welcome. My name's Will, like I just said. And I do this sort of thing on the internet like once a week or twice a week. I do movie reviews, reactions, discussions, a whole bunch of different stuff. Usually it's all wrapped around geekiness, as you can see around me. So if that is your bag and you enjoy that sort of perspective from I guess attractive looking homosexual, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'd love to get to know you. I'm on the quest for 500 or the road to 500 subscribers, so hopefully you'll join me on that journey. And let's discuss the latest offerings from the galaxy far, far away on Disney Plus. Like I said, this is spoilers, so you've been warned. I will be discussing the series and all of it that it entails. I'm going to try to keep it around 20 minutes. I actually have a timer, and I'm going to start now. Okay, so where to begin? Oh boy, I'm nervous about doing this one. I'm going to be real with you. I have been a lifelong Star Wars fan. Came up on the original trilogy. The prequels were okay, and I've enjoyed elements of the sequel trilogy in general. And most of the stuff Disney Plus has offered in terms of Star Wars, I have been really a big fan of. The Mandalorian was a fantastic success. I thought The Bad Batch was a lot of fun. I actually watched all of The Bad Batch. I just didn't do reviews for it, and I really enjoyed The Bad Batch. So when I heard about the Book of Boba Fett, I was apprehensive but cautiously optimistic of the series as a whole. I'm not the biggest fan of Boba Fett as a character. Tamara Morrison, he does a fantastic job as Boba Fett, and I was happy to see Ming-Na Wen reprise her role as Fennec Chan in the series. I thought their chemistry during the series was great. I love the characters. I like the Fennec Chan character a lot. Like I said, with Boba Fett, I was never a huge fan of it, but Tamara Morrison brings a warmth and a level of confidence to that character, especially a long-standing character that we never got a lot of backstory to from the original trilogy, because he was only in it for, combined half an hour tops? Half an hour, 40 minutes between the two movies. So this was a very interesting series to tackle, and it, based off the title, this definitely wanted to delve into the history of Boba Fett, or at least into what happened to him when he fell into the Sarlacc pit. And we got a lot of those answers during the series. The series mainly focused on Boba Fett trying to take over the remnants of Jabba the Hutt's empire on Tatooine, but he wanted to rule with respect instead of fear, and he was going up against the other syndicates in the area, most notably the Pike Syndicate. And that's where the main story, or the main through line of the series, was meant to be. I like the partnership between Boba Fett and Fennec Chan. I thought that was a really great thing to the series. This series has so many great moments that a lot of Star Wars fans, especially fans of like the Clone Wars, and a lot of fans of Dave Filoni, were waiting to see on camera. First live action representations of Cad Bane, of I forget the Wookiee character's name, but it's right here. He was a badass looking character with a great design as well. So we got our first live action introduction to those two characters within the series. We got to see a lot of different sides of characters in the Star Wars universe we never got a lot of information about, most notably the Tusken Raiders and the Rancor, because the Tusken Raiders were the ones who took in Boba Fett after he gained their respect in the first few episodes and really taught him the ways of their people. It was interesting to see that side of the Tusken Raiders. It really humanized them even more than what The Mandalorian did in, I believe, season 2 with the Tusken Raiders when we got reintroduced to them in the first episode of season 2. So there was a lot of interesting elements of that, as well as with the Rancor, with Boba Fett befriending it and, basically bonding with it to become his steed that we get to see in full glorious action in the finale. So those were great moments. I will admit episode 5 is probably my favorite episode. We saw the return of Din Djarin as the Mandalorian, and we got to kind of catch up with him during that episode, as well as in episode 6, where we got great cameos from Ahsoka Tano, played by Rosario Dawson again. I got to see my boy R2 again. We got to see Luke again, which I'll discuss my issues with that towards the end of the video. But it was great to catch up with these characters, to get the continuation of both Din Djarin and Grogu's story, and to see how they progress during this time away from The Mandalorian before we get to The Mandalorian Season 3, which should be coming out probably next year at this point, because I know Obi-Wan Kenobi series, I think, is dropping soon. Well, it might be coming out towards the end of the year. Who knows? We'll see what happens with the scheduling of that. So, again, series has great moments, great cameos. We get the relatives of Jabba the Hutt, which they look great on camera as well. Like I said, the Rancor got reintroduced. The spaceport mechanic lady came back. She was always fun. And, the finale was bombastic with really cool action set pieces. We got to see Din and Boba team up, which was a lot of fun. It was a lot of great moments in this series. Moments that people were clamoring for, and I think that's awesome. I'm starting with all the positives, because as a series titled The Book of Boba Fett, I feel like it failed. It's not good in that sense of the series being titled The Book of Boba Fett, which would lead you to believe that Boba Fett's story is the primary focus of this series that is only 7 episodes. It was not. So again, I wanted to start off with the positives and the things that I took away from the series first, before talking about the issues that I have with the series. And I'm kind of glad I didn't do episode reviews, because from a pacing standpoint, from a structure standpoint, I felt like they dropped the ball. It does not serve Boba Fett in any sort of positive light. Yes, we get this more respect-driven character, slightly contrary to what we saw in the original trilogy, but granted, interactions we have with him in the original trilogy are minimal at best. We don't get a sense of anything beyond he's a bounty hunter. He is supposedly very ruthless, and that's what's always been told to us, but again, he's taken out before we really get to see that. So when the series picks up, after our brief interaction with him in the last 2 or 3 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2, he's basically the same person when we met him back in Mandalorian. I would have expected, with all the flashbacks that we got, which were a lot, and took up the first 3 episodes of the series, you would think that we would have saw a little bit more of a ruthless side to him at the beginning, but he always seemed to just kind of be the same person throughout the entire series. When you have a character who is your protagonist, you want to see a level of growth or change of the character over time. But I don't feel like we got that with the Boba Fett character at all. He was the same person that he was during episode 1 that he was at episode 7. At least with The Mandalorian, we saw a change in Din Djarin from the first episode to the end of the first season, and then even more of a change throughout season 2. It just felt like there was no change to the character at all. They were just the same people at the beginning. And it kind of makes it feel super boring. It makes the lead character, the title character of your series, completely an afterthought in his own series. I even said that episode 5 was my favorite episode of the season. It was my favorite episode of the season, but episode 5 did not feature Boba Fett in it at all. It was episode 0 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. And it was the best episode. Oh, another positive thing, Bryce Dallas Howard needs her own Star Wars trilogy. Period. She has directed some of the best episodes of The Mandalorian and the best episode in the Book of Boba Fett. Give her goddamn Star Wars series or movies. I don't care which, but she deserves them. She did a really good job. And that was the other positive I forgot to mention, so I apologize about that. The best episode of the season, or the best two technically, because if you count episode 6, which was also primary focus was on other characters besides your title character, were better than the first 4 episodes that had your title character in it. I love the interaction between him and Fennec Chan. I love how their bond formed from a matter of one owing the other a life debt to basically mutual respect to even a small level of friendship. I thought those were really great moments that we got to see in those first few episodes, but the structure that those episodes did, where it jumped back and forth between the current day and the flashbacks of how he got out of Starlight Pit, how he bonded with the Tusken Raiders, their inevitable demise to the Pike Syndicate, and his eventual revenge over the course of the next couple episodes, it felt very disjointed. And it doesn't help when you completely stop 2 episodes before your finale to do something completely different away from the rest of the series. It just felt super disjointed. If they called the series something else, anything else, Star Wars stories, Adventures in the Galaxy, Tales of Tatooine, Crime Syndicate, Underworld, whatever, any title would have done better for the series than calling it the Book of Boba Fett. Because even the overall story, this claim that he wants to become the daimyo of Tatooine and wants to protect the people from the evil Pike Syndicate, at the end of the entire series, they're walking through the streets and he's basically like, I don't think this suits me, so what do you want to do? What was the point then? If you're going to completely be like, you know what? I risked a lot of people's lives. I killed a bunch of people, or I had a bunch of people die because of me. And I started this huge war on Tatooine, but I don't want to do it anymore. Can we just go do something else? If that's how, then that is the ultimate failure of the story of this series for me. If you just completely are like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I want to go do something else. What was the point of the last? What was the point? If that's how you end it, which again, everything up to that point was dope. I love the him riding in on the Rancor is awesome as hell. There were so many good elements and moments within the series, but it just felt like a total waste now if that's how they're going to end it. Even Cad Bane's introduction, as dope as Cad Bane looked and as badass as he was, I mean, he took down Cobb Vanth, didn't kill him, he shot him in the shoulder, but apparently, there's a post-credit scene, we'll talk about that in a second as well. He felt like he was wasted because he only showed up the episode before the finale. I would have rather him been the primary antagonist from the jump. You could have established more of their backstory because there's a huge backstory between Cad Bane and Boba Fett. Cad Bane was Boba Fett's mentor. You probably wouldn't know that because the series did nothing to explain that. You had to hope that you saw Clone Wars or you saw other stuff or you knew about it. But if the series focused on that and made that the primary conflict for most of it, I think the series would have made more sense. The fact that Fennec Chan was able to assassinate all the other crime bosses and the head of the Pike Syndicate in less than a minute and a closing scene with no issues shows that they were no threat whatsoever. They built up the Pike Syndicate to be this humongous threat in the entire series. And they were just numbers. They were just numbers of maskless people, or whatever the name is of the alien species. But it just felt like a waste. If it was structured differently, if you had a choice, rather you focus solely on Boba Fett or you wanted to focus on all the other stuff you've introduced to build to other things, then you'd rather change the name or change the story that you were telling. It's kind of one or the other. That's why I feel like I'm so torn with the series, because the series has such good elements to it, but then it just feels like, it just feels like it's so confusing. There's so many things that they were trying to do so much other stuff that your main character for your show was an afterthought within the entire thing. And I think Tamara Morrison deserved better. Like, if he comes back, I'd rather him play Captain Rex in the Ahsoka series. I bet you he would get more screen time if he plays Rex than if he played Boba Fett. Because I think most of the stuff you could have done with Boba Fett, you've already done in the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. And so without that, you just don't have anything interesting for him to grasp onto to do. And it just makes him a boring character. It took all the mystique away of who the character was and just kind of made him boring. Unfortunately, at least for me, personally, it just felt a little boring. You might feel completely different. If you do, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Just please be nice. It's just a humble nerd's opinion. I'm not. If you really love the series, more power to you, and I respect you 100%. If you really loved this series and really enjoyed it, and you felt like they made Boba Fett the badass character that he's always should have been, then I completely am happy that you feel that way. I'm just giving you my thoughts. I'm not tearing anybody down, so I was really nervous about doing this one. But yeah, great moments. Even having Luke Skywalker training Grogu, the moments between him and Ahsoka were fantastic. You know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. I can't get with the facial stuff. The deepfake stuff. There's something about it, again. It's better than what it was at the end of season 2. I think they hired a YouTuber, a guy who was doing deepfake and did it much better than professional people did at Lucasfilm. He did so much better. I will say that. It was so much better than the original that it still just doesn't connect with me, and I think I might know why. And this is the legit thing. When I watched the episode initially, I was watching it on my big screen TV in my living room, which is about like a 54, 55-inch TV. It's not that big. It was nice. But when I watched it on there were moments where I was like, oh shit, that looks really good. That actually looks like a young Mark Hamill. And there's other moments I'm like, who the f*** is that? That is no. I don't know what discount bargain bin you found this person. That is not Luke Skywalker. But then other moments is like, wow, it looks really believable and really good. And that's why I'm so torn with this series. I've also watched clips on my computer or on my phone, which are smaller screens. And it looks better for me on a smaller screen. So I don't know if it's the ratio or if it's the high definition where something doesn't sit right, but I don't know. It looked better than end of season 2. I will admit to that. I have no issues admitting to that. It looked a lot better than that. And on a smaller screen, it looks very good. But on a big screen, it's not there yet for me personally. But I'll just have to watch it on a small screen, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it. It was great having the character interact with Ahsoka. That was one of the moments I've always wanted. A lot of the interactions with him and Grogu were great too. I'm a little bummed or miffed that they didn't save that choice that Grogu was going to make until The Mandalorian Season 3. Like, leave it as a cliffhanger. Grogu didn't need to show up. It was cute, and it was sweet, Aww. And I was glad they got reunited. It was really cute and sweet, and I'm super glad. I'm super happy for that. But I felt like that could have been a Season 3 thing. They just reset the dynamic back to 0 before Season 3, which I get, it's a TV trope thing, and I get that. But I think from a story standpoint, I would have loved if they had saved it for The Mandalorian Season 3. There's a lot to like about the Book of Boba Fett as a series. As a series, there's a lot of great moments to like about. There's a lot of interesting character developments and dynamics with everyone except the main character, who I honestly do not feel like has grown or evolved from where we are introduced to him, even back when we see him in The Mandalorian Season 2, up until the point where he's deciding to do something else, basically, or to get someone else to run Tatooine instead of him, because he doesn't feel like he's fit for it. If you don't feel like you were fit for it, what was the point of fighting for it to begin with? I would have rather this have been like just a revenge story. Like, just have him systematically gun down all the bikers and convincing fashion in a couple episodes, and then discover midway through that it's the Pike Syndicate who was the cause of it. Not to try to rule Tatooine, but just to take out the Pikes for revenge. I would have rather that have been the focus of the series, 100%. With all that being said, those are just my general thoughts and opinions about the Book of Boba Fett as a series. I don't feel like as a Boba Fett driven series, it was a missed opportunity. As just a collection of Star Wars moments, I think they're some of the best moments I've seen in a long time. And that's where I feel torn and mixed on this overall series. I thought all the actors did great jobs. It was one of like the modders, the modification people. He does this weird spin thing just to fire one blaster bolt. And I'm like, what was the point of the spin? Did the director just be like, hey, you know what, just go with it, man. It's the end. Just do whatever you want. That's what so it was just a prime example of like, what was the point of that? And it just kind of sums up my overall feelings of this series. Kind of what was the point? Just to give us some cool Star Wars moments and mission accomplished. But if you were trying to tell a story about this character who was once a feared bounty hunter, now trying something different, I don't think it was a success, unfortunately. And that sucks. That sucks, but there are great moments that we can look back on and kind of enjoy. That is my review, my spoiler review of the Book of Boba Fett. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi next. Hopefully Kenobi is in every episode, and that it has a little bit more of a focus than I think this series offered. Let me know your thoughts on the series as a whole in the comments down below. You can talk spoilers because this is a spoiler review, so feel free. Just be nice if you really liked it, and I hope you did. I hope if whoever watched the series, they really found enjoyment in it. I really do. I found enjoyment in elements of the series. I didn't hate any episode that I watched, but I do have issues with it. And I think if you love something, even if you love it passionately enough, I feel like you should be able to constructively give criticism when it's warranted. There's other criticism that is completely unwarranted, and I won't really drown the video out with those thoughts from other people that I've seen. Overall, those are just my general thoughts, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. I'm not sure if I'll be doing episode reviews for Obi-Wan Kenobi. We'll see what happens. I'll just have to check and see. But if you want to know the best way to keep up with that sort of thing, you can subscribe to the channel and you can click that notification bell. All that fun admin stuff that sometimes we have to say. But yeah, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll definitely be up to date anytime I post new videos. You can follow me on most social media platforms, all ID Geek Will, and all that stuff's listed at the end of the video. If you follow me on like Twitter and stuff, I usually give notifications when I upload new videos there as well. I got a ton of videos on the channel right now that you're more than welcome to check out, and I highly recommend that you do. I'm still reviewing episodes of Legend of the Vox Machina. That's on Amazon Prime. So hopefully you'll check those out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the people that have subscribed recently. I really do appreciate that as well. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, may the Force be with you, and I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.